Hello everybody, happy Monday. Monday morning quarterback episode 13 coming at you. Trying this evening time slot because I've been busy, as you can tell, still in my team gear from the Speedway. But we got a lot of good feedback with it last week, a lot of participation. I think the West Coast folks are able to follow along a little bit better with the evening time slot, so it's something we'll potentially do moving forward. So let us know, comment, or send me a message. Let me know if you like the evening time slot better than the morning. It doesn't matter to me, just trying to help everybody and get them as much information as possible. So as I said, just got back from the track a few hours ago, and back here rebuilding the shocks for the two dry Reinbold entries, Sage Karam and JR Hildebrand. And today was basically final practice at the Speedway. Full tank runs, everything in race trim. We do have carburation day on Friday, but that's really just to do a systems check and make sure there's no leaks and we didn't lose the balance on the car. So basically today was 4 hours of non-stop running. Like I said, full tank runs, everybody in race trim, just trying to see how their cars are going to be in traffic. We logged a lot of laps, so it was a good day for us. Sage was actually fastest car today, and I believe JR was 15th. So we didn't qualify great. I think we start outside row 7 and 8, but we got some good race cars. So I'll take you back while people are tuning in and show you kind of what I've been working on. It's pretty quiet here at CSI this hour, but Jake and all the guys have been kicking butt while I've been out fooling around at the Speedway the last week. So kind of currently occupying the third bay here at the shop. So these are the two car sets, the 66 and 24. Hypercoil springs on both cars. One of the big reasons I'm such a huge advocate of theirs is I've been using them for a number of years on the IndyCar side, and they're of the highest quality. Most every IndyCar team uses the Hypercoil stuff. So weight jacker slave from the 66, 24 car, which I just finished freshening these up. 24 car, the weight jacker slave's built into the shock, so that's kind of neat. So these are a Penske brand shock that then we go and valve to the engineer specs. So again, 24 car, 66 car. I'm going to get going on these as soon as we're done with the video and finish those up tomorrow. And then I'll get them back to the Speedway so they can get them installed on the car. So it's one of our 3 work bays here that I'm working in. I'll probably dyno them back at the track. We have a Rohrig Emma dyno in the trailer, and been using that all month to dyno and track everything day to day, so probably just go back and dyno it there. But looks like we're getting some people tuned in. Apologize, my office is a mess. I've been in and out for the last week trying to come in and get a couple things done in the morning and then get out to the racetrack. And let me get this back straightened up. So anyhow, busy week here in Indiana. I'm here at the shop all day tomorrow, and then Wednesday I'll be headed to Anderson for Little 500 practice, and then to Terre Haute Wednesday night for the Holman. Thursday back at Anderson for Little 500 practice, and then to the fairgrounds for the Hoosier 100 Thursday night. Friday I'll be at the Speedway for Carb Day. And as soon as I can get out of there, I'm going to shoot up to Peru for the first night of the 10,000 to win 600cc non-wing world championship. Saturday, going to take the day off and get some stuff done around my shop at home, get some cars prepared for the Texas quarter midget race. And then Sunday is the 500. Monday is World of Outlaws at Lawrenceburg, and then Tuesday starts midget week. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, midget week, and Monday hit the road for Texas. So crazy stretch here, but we're looking forward to it. This is the time of year that we really enjoy after we deal with the snow and the crummy weather and all the other junk here in the Midwest. for weeks like this where we get to go to a racetrack like 14 of the next 15 days or something like that. So so no travel for me last weekend. I was at the Speedway. Most everything rained out around here. Lincoln Park, Putnamville did get in. And Jake went to Knoxville with Hunter Schoenberg. So Flip, it was good to see you too. Got to see several people haven't seen in a while at the Speedway. So this is my 5th year with Dreyer Reinbold. Great team to work with. 2-car team this year, which is a little different. It's added a bit to my workload because I'm the only shot guy. But a really good group of guys. The only team that does an Indy-only effort, and we put forth a solid deal. Dennis spends the money required, and we plan ahead. I actually had the shocks built for those cars back in March, and so we work all year long on that program. So, and then Kyle, you mentioned hope you get the coilovers in. I'm not sure what you're referencing because I've been out of the shop for the last week, but give us a call tomorrow or shoot me a message and I'll make sure that we get what you need if it's not already in transit or here. We keep a bunch of the springs here in stock, but it might be something we were out of temporarily, so get with me on that. Last week's winners, Wing 305 stuff in Texas. Kevin Ramey and Taylor Courtney won. Kevin Ramey's had a great year out there on our stuff. And speaking of Texas, we appreciate everybody that's purchased from us from the state of Texas. We are going to donate 10% of all sales that ship to Texas to Marcus Thomas here at the end of the month. So his next two weeks from now, Monday morning quarterback, we'll let you know how much money we're sending to Marcus to help him out and help him pay for some of his medical bills as he is laid up. So keep the orders coming in from Texas here. We got another 9 or 10 days, and we'll tally up all the stuff that went to Texas. Every single order that went to Texas, we're going to give a cut of that to Marcus. So he's been a good friend of ours and a brand ambassador for us, and we want to help him out any way we can. Shane Cockrum won at Lincoln Park Speedway, new customer for us, and they're off to a really good start. So that's good to see them winning. Quarter midgets. Bradley Erickson had a great weekend out at the Duel in the Desert, and as did Quinn Thurine. And Keegan Stratton won on the East Coast. Micro sprints, I know Nick Yoder won at US 24. So I don't have a whole lot of wins. Like I say, I've been at the track all day, and typically Monday mornings I jot down everybody I knew who won or who messaged me, and I have a long list. And I apologize, the last few weeks I've been slacking on that. So if I missed you, comment, let us know, and we certainly want to acknowledge your efforts. With that being said, we'll start rolling into the questions. Anybody that has a question, go ahead and ask it, and we will help you out as best we can. RJ, glad to see that you're coming out to Indiana to do some real racing, so that's awesome. Kyle sent me a PM. Okay, perfect. Had one question that was messaged to me from a quarter midget guy using our new bump rubber kit. So for those of you that love our kit on the micro sprints and midgets and sprint cars, we developed a similar kit for the quarter midgets that's worked really, really well on the parking lots, and we're starting to expand and use that in different areas. We actually did extensive testing at Mini Indy a few weeks ago, trying to get it to work on high grip and high bank stuff. But this particular customer races on a really short, quick track, tight corners, and he believes his car is just touching the bump rubber for a split second. And his question was whether he should be in it longer, and is he really seeing any gain by just touching that bump rubber for a split second in the center of the corner. So my answer to that is there's really no prescribed amount of time you need to be in the bump rubber. However, if you're seeing a gain from it, I would say it doesn't matter if you're in it for 1/10 of a second or 2 seconds throughout the corner. If it's yielding the result you want it to yield, I wouldn't change it. Now, if you don't feel it's doing anything, you're probably not in it long enough. And in that instance, you can do one of two things on a quarter midget. Softer spring, or put some more packers in there, close that gap up so it initiates that bump rubber earlier into the corner. So question, Andrew Locuson. Micro Sprint, do you recommend different valving from a wishbone to a Z-Link? So we do. It's not a tremendous amount different. It is different though, especially on the right rear. So that's why we always ask what type of chassis you have when we're building you a shock package. So for those of you tuned in and don't know our process, every set of shocks we build here is custom. So we have no shocks. I could walk you around the shop with our camera. There's no sets pre-built. When we build a set, we want to know how much the driver weighs, what tracks he races at, what type of chassis he has. We can then identify whether it's a Panhard or a Z-Link for a Micro Sprint. And then we're going to custom build a shock package for you based on our knowledge and experience with all the sets of shocks we've built and gotten feedback and testing we've done. So the package is a little bit different. The Panhard cars tend to run on the right rear a lot harder than a Z-Link. Therefore, oftentimes our compression is stiffer on a Z-Link car, or we're running a compression adjustable right rear versus a rebound. But it is a different package. So if you had a set of shocks, say on a Panhard car, and your chassis manufacturer's new car is a Z-Link, get with us, because we might need to do some adjusting there to make sure that you're getting the best results you can from your shock package. So that is a good question, Andrew. Thank you for asking that. Midget sprint cars, the suspension is all very, very similar. The main reason we're asking your chassis on those is on like the sprint cars, some of their shock towers are a little different, and the length of shock you'll need to run will vary based on chassis. But micro sprints, we do see a wide variety of different chassis types and styles. Anybody else that's tuned in have questions? I only had one emailed in that I just answered, but I'm here and would love to ask all your questions. Frank Galusha, will I see you in Peru this week? I'm coming up on Friday, and I believe Jake is going to come up on Saturday. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you up there, Frank. I didn't realize you were running, so that's awesome. Kyle Rhodes, does it matter which way you mount your shock? It doesn't matter as far as how the shock is going to perform. I usually mount them whatever way the adjusters are most accessible. Whether you're running a cockpit adjustable shock, whatever way the cable's going to route the cleanest, or where I don't have to lay on the ground and get to the adjuster. But it doesn't really matter. Some guys will tell you mount them body up, shaft down. There's less unsprung weight that way. I don't think it's really a difference you would ever notice. Traditionally, I mount them body down, shaft up, because it's easier to get to the adjusters. But it has no effect on the shock whatsoever. So good question, Kyle. We get that asked fairly frequently as far as that goes. So tell us about your weekend. You guys that are tuned in, if you don't want to ask a question, let us know how it went last weekend. Where you're racing at this weekend. Justin Inslee joined. Justin, what time is it in New Zealand? Is it nighttime or daytime? I don't remember. But see this evening time program, now we're getting people across the country joining in, and even in New Zealand, so that's awesome. John Hunt. Good question, John. So one of the main reasons that we developed 115, I hope that's PM and not AM. If it's AM, you should be sleeping. And we were just talking about how Midget Week isn't going to be the same without you guys over here. We really enjoyed having Justin and Michael Pickens over last year for Midget Week. So it's not going to be the same without you guys this year, but we hope you're doing well. So John, your question. One of the main reasons we developed that bump rubber kit was all of these national quarter midget races went to parking lots that are very rough tracks. And you need a softer spring rate to get through the holes better. But when we did that, we weren't yielding the results we needed. We weren't sticking the tires in the track as hard as we needed, and we weren't getting the grip we needed. So With the bump rubbers, we were able to soften our spring rate to get through the holes better, but then load that bump rubber in the corner to drive the tire in the track. I think you will yield the same result on a rough dirt track. The only concern I have with the dirt track is that you might not be able to go soft enough on springs. So if you're currently already running like 80-pound springs, a lot of manufacturers don't make anything softer than 70 or 75. Typically, we're dropping about 20 pounds of spring weight on the right side with our bump rubber kit. So if you're in a heavier class or you're running heavier springs, say 100-pound springs, you can easily go to 80s, put the bump rubber kit on, and I think you'll see a net gain there. So that's a good question, John. We have a few guys with quarter midgets on dirt having success with those bump rubber kits. So anybody else that's tuned in have questions or want to let us know how the weekend went for you? I'm up past my bedtime answering questions, so please ask. We certainly appreciate everybody tuning in. When I did the first one of these, we just were trying to help our customers and anybody that wanted to ask questions, give them some answers, and have an open forum where maybe if you're not sure, you don't want to ask a question, somebody else asks the same thing you're thinking, and you get some answers. So we're going to keep doing this as long as people are tuning in and wanting to see it. And Ronnie Gardner, I hope you're joking. You're too young to be retired. Johnny Herrera, hello. I apologize I haven't called you back yet. It's been a whirlwind of a day, but I'll call you back tomorrow, I promise. Kyle Rhodes. We can suggest torsion bar rates if you would like. Typically, we will tell you to yield to what your manufacturer says, especially on the micros, because they're changing arm lengths all the time, and there's so much more we need to know as far as recommending torsion bars, where the pickup point is on the bird cage, how long the arm is, etc. If it's a company that we work with a lot, Factor One, Driven, Concept, we got a good idea of what those guys are running as far as torsion bars, and we can recommend that to you. However, our shock package isn't going to require that you run a torsion bar package that's different than what the manufacturer recommends. So torsion bars and springs work in harmony with the shocks, but they are different. So when we build you this shock package, if you were running the manufacturer's recommended bars for the tracks you're running on and your driver weight, you shouldn't have to change your torsion bar or spring package for our shocks. Now, if you were running an oddball bar package that wasn't working, we can recommend what you should be running or an area we think you should try. And then one of the things when you buy shocks from us is you're truly buying a shock program. You're not just buying a set of shocks out of a catalog or for somebody, and you're not going to be accessible to the guy who built the shocks. We are very accessible, and we're going to build you the shocks, and then we're going to help you along the way. So if you run on Sunday, you can ask the question here. If you're not comfortable asking it here, you can text me, Facebook message me, call me at the shop, and we're going to try to help you out best we can. So if we sell you a set of shocks, you're running your bars, and then you call and say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing, we can then try to walk through whether we need to adjust the shocks or bars. So Darren Loftmiller, Terre Haute Wednesday, Putnamville Saturday, 500 Sunday. Good week for you, and we will see you at Terre Haute on Wednesday. So awesome. Ronnie, month of May is going okay. We were fastest car today. I think we got good cars in race trim. We didn't qualify quite as well as we wanted, but we have a shot. It's going to be an interesting race, though. The new cars are extremely hard to pass. They lose front aero very easily in traffic. It makes the cars hard to turn. I think you'll see a lot of crashes once the marbles develop. It's going to be really hard to keep a car flat in traffic. So it should be an interesting race. Justin Inslee. Good question. 1, 3, and 6 inch numbers mean in a graph, and what does the driver feel? So when we say we're talking about a 3 inch per second number. That doesn't mean the shock has been compressed 3 inches. We mean it's moving at a speed of 3 inches per second. Typically, that's the number that's most spoken in the industries that we work in. Micro sprints, midgets, sprint cars, Silver Crown, wing, non-wing. 3 inch number is talked about the most. I feel your 1 inch number is extremely important because you cross over that number more than any other speed that you will see. And the reason being, when the shot goes from compression to rebound, it has to stop and change directions. And so as it stops and changes directions, it's slowing down to 1 inch per second and then speeding back up in the other direction. So the drivers really feel that 1 inch number. They maybe will never feel a 6 inch number unless they hit the cushion or a rough racetrack. That's more in what we would classify as a high speed area of the shock. Even though in some industries they're not talking high speed till over 20 inches per second. In our industry, 10 inches high speed, but 6 is getting up there. I don't feel the driver is really going to notice a change at 6 inches, certainly as much as 1 or 3. So 3 inch is kind of the industry standard, what people talk. Most people look at 3 inch. They might look at their 1 inch rebound because the shock doesn't move in a very fast speed on the rebound side, especially on the left rear. So some of them will look at the 1 inch number on the left rear rebound, but most people are looking at 3 inch. But 1 inch is very important. That's what the driver feels, is that slower speed. Mike, are you referring to a micro sprint? Because if you are, they will. When we're talking about a sprint car, oftentimes a wing car is blocked so much differently, the lengths become an issue almost as much as the valvings do. So if you're talking about a micro sprint, yes, the shocks will work the same. If you don't have recommendations from us as far as what you should run, wing, get with me. You might have been the one who sent me a message that I didn't get till Sunday. But if that was you, I have it on my list to email you those valving recommendations tomorrow. So, Trey, are you speaking of 1 inch compression or rebound on the right rear of a micro with the bump rubber kit? With the bump rubber kit, our new bump rubber kit on the right rear, we haven't really changed what we've always ran as far as compression and rebound numbers. So he's referring to rebound. So it really depends on the track. Typically, we'll say a micro sprint. Typically, when the track's heavy, we're going to be 30-ish pounds of rebound, 1 inch. Midget about the same, and then when it slicks off, we're going to be in that 50 to 60 pound range, 1 inch rebound. So, okay, Mike, and I believe that was you that asked me already through a Facebook message, and I do apologize I haven't got back to you yet, but that's on my list for tomorrow. So anybody who's emailed me or called me and hasn't gotten a reply, I tried to reply to everybody throughout the day when I was at the racetrack, but I have a bunch of emails and conversion seats that I'll be getting to customers tomorrow. I'll be in the shop here at CSI all day tomorrow. So appreciate all the questions. That's great. I think the evening time is better for everybody. They're home from work and the West Coast people are getting home. So we'll keep going on with this 9 o'clock Monday morning quarterback because we're getting a lot of participation. Sean, you're coming to Battle at the Brickyard. That is a awesome quarter midget race. One I highly recommend for anybody that's got little ones racing quarter midgets. It's just a really neat atmosphere, cool for the kids to be at the Speedway. I get goosebumps every day when I go to the Speedway. It's just an awesome place, and been fortunate enough to win a Battle at the Brickyard with Jackson Bishop, but it'd be really cool to win the Indy 500. And so for anybody that's coming to the Battle at the Brickyard, our shop's only about 15 minutes from the Speedway, so we'd love to see you. Sean, you need a Red Rookie setup. So private message me or shoot me an email, and let me know what type of chassis you have and what the kid weighs, and we'll get your question answered. Ray wants to know, where's the force going on the car that is on the force versus velocity graph? I don't follow your question, Vance, on that one. The force of the shock is controlling the tire on the race car, the stored energy on that corner of the car. It's timing how the car transitions, but I don't 100% follow your question. John Randall looked at the Texas track today. Gonna need bump rubbers. Looks slick. Well, that's perfect. We love going to tracks that are slick because that's when shocks really come into play, and we can have some real gains with a good shock package. So the parking lot racing that we have to do on the National Quarter Midget Circuit is challenging to say the least. It reminds me a lot of when I was doing IndyCar full time and we'd go to street circuits, because on city roads they change so much from year to year. We might have a great setup. We have data that we'd pulled off the car. We went to a 7-post rig. We'd done all the simulation, and we knew exactly what spring and shock package we need to be optimized when we go back. And we'd go back, and all of a sudden we were seeing totally different displacements and velocities because a pothole had formed over here, or they'd repaved this intersection. The National Quarter Midget races at the parking lots remind me a lot of street course racing in IndyCar. It's very challenging. So Sean, yeah, definitely get with me and I can get you a Red Rookie setup. So, does anybody else have any questions for us? If I miss your question, comment here, shoot me a message. I'll try to reply, and then we will also ask next week, or answer it next week, so everybody knows. Do you have info to read about bump rubber? Never used it. Factor 1 Micro. Kyle, shoot me an email and I will send you our literature on that. And you can kind of see the sheet that comes with the bump rubber kit. Explains the different curves and rates that you can yield by tuning the kit, the gap shoe run. If you go back through our Facebook page, back like in January-ish, I did a video like this explaining the bump rubbers and the net gain you can have from those. So scroll back through our page and you will find a video about the bump rubber kit. And then I can also email you the instruction sheets. So good stuff tonight, guys. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. Next week's a holiday, but we'll still do this because I can do this from anywhere. That's the beauty of Facebook. So hope everybody has a great weekend. Lots of racing coming up. Enjoy some time with your family. Hopefully you don't have to work next Monday, but we will do Monday morning quarterback. And we'll figure out a time for it, and I'll let everybody know. I might be at the World of Outlaw race, and so maybe we'll do it like late afternoon or something while I'm heading there or before. So good luck to everybody racing. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care.